wonderful rest of their day yesterday, and welcome back to the destruction early on, or welcome to the destruction early on. We've seen the non-farm payrolls came out this morning, and the market has traded much lower. It is interesting to note that I think what's happening is a lot of unexpectedness here. Um, we saw the non-farm payrolls come out here at a little bit elevated, right? So there was a little bit more non-farm payrolls. The unemployment rate actually went down, so that's probably why the reaction is so bad. I think that they were expecting more people to be unemployed and maybe to be looking for the economy to be in a little bit more trouble. Um, but I mean, we can see, you know, it's not a bad news is good news type situation, not yet anyways, and the market has basically sold off into the gap. And right here, the NFP impulse 3760 quarter, that's kind of where I was tracking it this morning as I was watching the market. And really, so if the market cannot get above that level, for me, it's just going to tell me that the market is weak. We are opening on a gap lower, a fairly big gap as well, right? Market settled yesterday at 56, trading at 37.10 here. So the gap lower is a fairly big gap, and that typically increases the volatility early on. So you're going to have to be careful with trading here early on in the session. If you are a newer trader, or this is something that you're not used to, the best thing that you can do is probably just hang tight and let the market settle for a little bit and then try to get on board with it. Basically, what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for any type of correction early on, right? The market is gapping down, so we'll see if there's a little bit of overnight inventory correction. We do have a very wide point of control, and if the market is able to put in a little bit of an overnight correction and we see it fail somewhere in this gap, that's where I'd like to jump on to the short side and look to trade, back down to the Globex low. Um, there's really there's really no point to try to force any trades today. If we zoom out here, the market is basically just kind of repairing structure, and this to me kind of just almost confirms downside. Um, right, market gap down, it balanced lower, got a little bit too short, popped up, started to balance to repair this weak structure, right? This is something that we talked about on Monday about how it might just balance up here to repair structure. It's balanced for the past 3 days, now breaking out of balance. We have a gap down and a break from balance, and typically the first thing we monitor for in these situations are an opportunity to go with. Typically large gaps don't fill in on the first day, so we'll kind of see. It's interesting that we're having a gap right at the previous spot that we had a gap, right? And that's kind of confirming that shorter time frame traders got a little bit too short, and they got stopped out, and then they probably got a little bit too long here and got stopped out. A key thing as well is, like yesterday that we talked about, was monitoring these initial balances to kind of monitor who's in control, not really about the range themselves, but we kind of saw like, okay, buyers won this day, right? Buyers won this day, but we weren't really able to close above that high, but we did close above the initial balance. Well, yesterday was just a pretty much a pure liquidation is what it seemed like, after Wednesday had kind of bought in all the weak-handed traders, right? It had seemed that it traded below, it traded above, kind of bought everybody in, and then just for the most part seemed to just kind of run out of time, but settled inside yesterday's value. So they were able to get all these stops here, and then the market ended up opening higher or pushing higher on the open, and then liquidation came in, and then they just liquidated for the rest of the day, forming that B profile. A poor low was put in. We're now trading below that poor low, and that sometimes can be a sign of liquidation, right? You get this B profile, there's just liquidation, there's no new money selling here, and we had probably a bunch of dip buyers buying the long yesterday, and then today a little bit more liquidation. Did you all see the Maverick Wall Street video this week? Talked about the average hourly earnings rate. I can't find those results. You know what they are? I have heard about them. The average hourly earnings there. I can find them for you. I don't pay much attention to the numbers, right? So the way that I trade these reports or on these days of reports is based off of the impulse from the report coming out. So I'm trading based off of the reaction of the human psychology, basically. And so for me, that's why this 3760 quarter level, that's where I saw the impulse from this morning, is going to be, the biggest level for me to pay attention to, honestly, because that's where everyone reacted from, right? And so if a bunch of people started reacting, because it actually popped up a little bit first and then shit the bed. So if the market was able to get above this impulse, I imagine there's a lot of short time frame traders that are trapped down here at the low. And so that could be an opportunity to get long and squeeze some of those shorts out. Let's see if we can look back at the previous days. I can changes the time. Oh, we can do custom dates. So let's go Monday, Wednesday. And you're looking for the what was it? Good morning. Where are my manners? Average hourly earnings. I could have sworn they're on Tuesday. Oh, maybe it was Tuesday. Yeah, here it is. So here's the numbers for that. Um, and so you can see, I mean, it's pretty muted. Yeah, it came in at 0.03. And they adjust these numbers after sometimes. So you can see the number today, 0.03. They adjust the numbers after sometimes. And so you're just going to have to wait for them to wait for the actual report to come back out. Sometimes you'll get, sometimes when they readjust for the numbers, you'll get a better number, but sometimes, it'll just be the same number as before. All right. But yeah, so we do have overnight inventory, for the most part net short. I mean, I'm going with the pretty much net short. I mean, you can see, here's the settle. There is some inventory up here. So you could do an 80-20 for the most part. We're kind of inside yesterday's range, but as of now, pretty much trading lower. And we're back down into the gap. So it would make sense if the market tries to repair this gap during the cash session, kind of fill it in, and we'll kind of just see from there. For the most part, like I said, I'm very cautious of taking any longs until the market gets above this NFP impulse level. That's kind of where the level broke down from. And that would close the gap, right? And so that would be, that would be kind of confirming that the market's at least a little bit strong, able to confirm the gap. Today, early on, we can be expecting the breadth to be opening negative, as most likely, unless there's a rally here in the next 10 minutes. That brings us back up close to the lows. Most likely we'll be opening up with a negative breadth down on a gap. So the breadth won't be as important today. We'll be monitoring that tick, right? Any rally where the tick doesn't get above 0 and doesn't close the gap, we can probably sell that for the most part. That's kind of what I'll be looking for early on. So taking a little peek around the block, we talked about the 112 level yesterday. Well, there goes the dollar. It actually closed above the 112 level yesterday. We had the alert on it. I think I had just gotten off, and then the market climbed above that 112 level, and then we saw a little bit of downside in the market. But now it's clearly above that 112 level, so it's kind of breaking out of that trend that we had marked, and we'll having to be watching that. They came out this morning with the job number, yeah. Bitbeard, what's up? Yeah, that 4-hour double top played out really well. Yeah, Bitcoin shit the bed for sure, especially with the market today. Yeah, I just had to be patient on it. That was it. Because it really just kind of sat yesterday, didn't really do much. Yeah, there's the top from here, then you had another top here. Yesterday kind of just bounced a little bit lower, and then yeah, it's from the non-farm payrolls report, TJ. The dump. The euro climbed above the dollar mark just barely this week, right? And then has since traded much lower back down to 98. Oil still on the rise, actually got above 90. Um, you know, not great for the world. But what can we do? Apple opening up on a gap down lower here. Amazon looking around the same. Google doing the same, right? Back down into this, looking back down into this previous gap, we can kind of see gaining a little bit of support off that previous gap where it put in a little bit of structure last week. Meta is going to be opening up inside the previous day's range. You can see Meta was pretty volatile yesterday. Market trying to bounce a little bit here. We can see trying to fill in some of these single prints. Microsoft's going to be opening up on a gap lower, coming back down to that previous resistance. So a little bit of back test here. Netflix opening up inside yesterday's range, right? Netflix still looks, decent comparatively to a lot of the other ones. Nvidia opening up on a gap lower. AMD going to be opening up on a gap lower. Tesla, again, the weakest of the bunch lately, going to be opening up on a gap lower. What is interesting to note is, oh, never mind. I thought the VIX was down a little bit, but it came back. So that NFP came out. The VIX came down, but popped right back up. I hadn't looked at it. So when the non-farm payroll changes down from the previous month, that is good or bad? I went back and looked at the 5 unemployment changes news releases. Only one of 5 didn't dump for 3 days after. I don't know. I don't pay much attention. Thomas, good morning. I don't pay much attention to the numbers of it. I don't think it's. I don't think it's that relevant, right? I mean, if we were trading maybe more individual things that pertain to non-farm payrolls, like if you're trading, um, like stuff that had to do with the jobs report itself, like if you're trading like Kohl's or Target or Walmart or something like that, where these jobs are going to be lost and taken from, then it might be good to key in on the numbers. But for me, really, I'm just paying attention to where the market is impulsing from. I think that's the best bet, honestly. Corn futures. Yeah, I traded corn futures actually. I think it was back in March. I made some really nice plays on corn futures actually. Yeah, and it was just basically that. I mean, that corn play was just basically off the backs of like when that Ukraine stuff came out and everyone was playing wheat. I figured, oh, everything is made from corn, or at least in America, everything has a little bit of corn in it, right? Corn oil, fucking, and everyone in America is a fat piece of shit for the most part. And they just fucking love sugar and corn syrup. So yeah, are the corn futures are pumping? Oh yeah, a little pop in there. Roach, good morning. Yeah, and Jake, I'm not saying that you can't look at the numbers and they can't be helpful. I'm just saying that I don't. You know what I mean? Like it's just not something that I do. So, if it does help you, then don't, by all means use them. It's just for me, it's just not something that pay attention to because, I just don't I haven't done enough research on how to study them and like how they're correlated and actually what they mean, because sometimes especially in this environment here where everyone's looking for the Fed to not continue tightening as much, they're looking more for the the numbers to go bad, quotations, right? They want the bad numbers, so then they'll start not they'll start quantitative easing again instead of quantitative tightening. So are we on a highway to hell? I mean, we've been on this highway since the beginning of the year. We haven't really gotten off. Um, trying to convince me to look deeper. If I had the time, if I had the time, then I probably would. But I enjoy my free time too much. Like if I wasn't married and didn't have kids, I would have tons of different free time. But I really enjoy spending time with my family and with my wife and stuff. So it's that kind of stuff comes first for me before the market. And I'm a rabbit hole type of person, so like once I start to look something up, I can't really stop until I know about it. You know what I mean? Like so, if I get started, it's like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean? Morning, Dr. VJ. Martin's been asleep in the back seat. Yeah, I mean, really, really, winter will will let us know a little bit more. I mean, there's a lot of bad things going on, a lot of bad economic data going on. Uh, you know, with, it's just everywhere, right? You can't even. I could talk all day about it just because it's going on just everywhere, right? Canada's in real trouble. England is looking like they're in kind of real trouble. Uh, Germany is really the only people that produce their own energy over in Europe. And so, um, I mean, they're probably in the best position comparatively, but still not in the greatest position. I'm hearing talks of people switching off of gas and starting to burn oil again, right? So like olden times, those fucking oil lamp lighters and shit for uh, energy. The Saudi Arabia prince told the Americans uh, at the meeting, the OPEC meeting, basically, fuck you. He was like, because the American guy asked, like, well, what about the people in the West that are going to be suffering from these high oil prices? And he basically said, what about the people in Africa that have to burn wood to keep warm? And then, the guy was like, like, he didn't have shit to say. Um, and I mean, what can you say? Like shit's bad, but could be worse, right? It could always be worse, and so like you just have to really look at things on the bright side, or look at things on the side that things could always be worse, right? You know, you could be in hell and fucking getting pineapples shoved up your ass with Hitler. So the group is growing as more people get confused, feel like you're missing the bus. I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and get some Reveille rolling so we can get this party started. All right. Now we're motivated. Now we're ready. Good morning, Jason. So remember, we have gap rules in play, also balance rules. We're coming out of a balance. We've got about a minute until the market opens. We're going to be opening up on a fairly large gap. Right now, about 30 points here, 35 points. We're into that previous gap that's held back since the 3rd of October. So that's Monday. And so today, as we're getting ready to open up, we'll be monitoring to see if it's going to do a little bit of filling in on this gap. Remember, any bounce, I think, that doesn't fill, if we don't get a tick that can climb over the zero, we'll probably open up with a negative breath. We'll see how the sectors react early on. And we'll kind of just go from there, right? Be patient and manage risk and stick to your trade plan. And people like watching, hit the like button. Appreciate it. Yeah, definitely. Smash that like button. Get the algorithm rolling. You guys are already chatting. That helps. Morning, Liker. And then, if you're just watching in the chat or you've kind of been like back in the shadows, don't be afraid to ask any questions. Here's the open. So we're opening up right at the low range of that gap and then immediately trade lower. So look to see if they're going to push this thing back towards that Globex low or hold it below the open. Let's let this breath update. There it goes. So most of the sectors start getting a little upticks off of the open, except for tech. Breath opens up, but not as negative as you would think, right? On a pretty large gap to the downside. Negative about 4 on the NYSE and 2, almost 2 on the Nasdaq. A little bit of a bounce here. tick opens up pretty negative, 1400. Remember, overnight inventory for the most part is pretty short. So, morning, Reyes. Counts are fixed for today. Fix the bug. Nice. So caught a nice little short right there as we broke back below the open. Let's see if we can get some continuation here. They'll target that Globex low naturally. Look at the tick just getting pounded. Breath is picking up here, so we are getting some selling coming in. We want to see that volume come in. There it is. And then now we just want to see that continuation. BTC is heading lower as well. A little bit of struggle here at this low, but I mean, it doesn't look like anything's really holding us back. Big buy order 3704, 100 lots, doesn't matter. Market just rips right through it. Probably someone just covering a short real quick. Not trading past that Globex low yet, and a little bit of short covering right there on that 3702. AMD's down 7%. Bought got into a put. Not seeing the data open up here. It's a little bit of short covering off that low. That 3702 seemed to be where that low had kind of taken some I'm struggling to get below. Decent little bounce here. Let's see if they can get it back above the open. Look at it. Watch the tick here. Breath is still pretty negative. Fucking Ninja Trader platform has been terrible as of late. Can't even trade today. What's going on? Is it just not updating? So they didn't get back above the open there. Watch this 3713 level. It's a thin spot in the profile here. Spot got filled 0.9 below the buy price, 63.61. So pretty mixed bag there. Puts and calls.
Yeah, it actually, the buy price was 149, so for it to be 9 cents less is pretty freaking substantial. That's like 6% less.
Yeah, so that just shows you the volatility in those options today.
Well, it just means that lots of people don't necessarily think it's going to go down. We'll see where it ends up. I may close it out early just because of that gap down. I mean, getting in at 7% down that's a hell of a gamble.
Yeah. If they look for this low this time. You said Ninja Traders not loading any of your workspaces? A pain in the ass. None of the indicators are up there. So pretty tight here. That 3702 held again right there and a pretty decent bounce off there. So looks like shorts are covering there at the low. Still fairly red. The breath is kicked off a little bit. It was 5 on the NYSE. Starting to see the tick try to get a little bit of steam. Still nowhere close to getting back up to the 0. And you're getting a little box, a TJ box here early on in the session here. So we'll monitor this box. We need to come up with something more clever that doesn't roll off the tongue. Like TJ's. Think of something that's gonna be starts with a T. TJ's trapped something. Little peak above there. More trapped inventory. Yeah, I'm all about like, letters in a row. So it's like T T T, that'd be perfect. Like my chart space called Brad's Boxes. And literally just a fucking screen of boxes. Deboxed. So not able to climb above the open there. Really just, I mean, right right up to it, but then kind of failed. So they're gonna retest that 3702. It looks like here. None of your indicators are on. That's weird. I wonder why that's happening. Foot counts are climbing. So watch the 3702. 3702 goes, we should be clear for launch. This is an old last. We'll go ahead and delete that. Remember, we still have this weak spot on the profile down here, these Brad prints, and there's still a big part of singles down here. This could be where the responsive buying comes in. Yeah, I wouldn't blame you, to be honest with you, if you switch to Sierra. The reason I switched to Sierra, not that I had anything against Ninja, it's just that I like Sierra better. I still have Ninja because I run my algo on Ninja, but um the fuck are my strategies? Okay, there we go. So the box gets extended here. I'll just drag it all the way out. You've been having issues for a couple of weeks now? Yeah, one of my buddies, Jared, was having issues with it, and then he switched to Sierra as well. Sierra's it's a different platform. It's not as user friendly as um not as user friendly as NinjaTrader. So there is a little bit of a learning curve, but no need to fret. We've got a team here of people that can answer questions, and honestly, the forums for Sierra charts are just so well done that it's so easy to find what you're looking for. If I'm being honest, like it really is just so easy to. If you're having an issue, type it into Google, type Sierra charts after the question, and then someone else has probably asked the question before, and it's pretty much dead on. Yeah, is that that's what you're dropping upstairs? Batteries? Go ahead. That's fine. Grabbed a long off that low. DJ's an animal. Nice trade though. $23.86 call puts. Still unable to break above this, so we're probably seeing a seller, around here, and this is, you know, this is basically like right above the open, so someone's just kind of selling the open. So a little bit of mechanical selling here early on, trying to hold the price down. Got out at the open, good stuff. Yeah, Sierra is like, I mean, they're just really helpful. And like, honestly, if you have issues or if you even want something done, right? Like if you're like, hey, it'd be really cool if you did this. Unless it's already something that they have taken care of and you just want it a different way, they might not do it. But if it's something that, they don't have, then they pretty much will add it for you. So here we go, back down to that 3702. My bot got into a put. Or not a put, a short, I mean.
Holy crap.
Yep. And it's shorting, its target is the 36.86. See what it does. Do they have something close to bookmap? Yeah, I mean, you can do like the you can do the what's it called? Let's see, if this 3702 breaks, we should be G to G. G to G means good to go. You can do like the like market depth, historical, and market depth and all that stuff. So it does have stuff like that. 3700, pretty psychological number here, but it doesn't look like it's gonna hold here. Right at the Globex low, there she blows. Boom! Good stuff. Now we can just call it a day. Let's go ahead and just shut our computers off and we'll be done. I'm just gonna go to 3786 and we can pretty much just wrap it up. Come on, you can do it. We're almost there. Just keep going. We just want 3686. Just fucking do what we say. Don't give us any rotations. Just get us down there so we can get out of this trade. Don't get scared here, guys. Don't cover these shorts. We don't want any rotations. We want to get straight down there. I'm just kidding. If you got to cover, just cover. But
Crab, you're half a second too late, bro. Half a second. Oh man.
What a trade that was. I just flattened out too. 86 is, I mean, 90 is close enough. 86, 90. What are we talking about here? That's a nice trade. Look at that. So here I'll pull over the bot so you can kind of see how it works. So it took a short at 37.07 quarter, and then I closed it 37.90.75. It was targeting the 86. But once you guys all started to cover your shorts, I was like, ah, fuck, if we rally here, I'm gonna be pissed. So just decided to close it. I mean, you can kind of see if we look at the back test, it didn't trade yesterday at all. It tried to get in a trade and then closed it immediately. But then on Tuesday, like it did take a bit of heat on, or this is Wednesday. It took a bit of heat, but for the most part, it's been going pretty good. This day it took like a little baby trade. The previous day it took a decent trade, but didn't quite get to where it wanted to go, and then ended up just closing at the end of the session. So it was up actually a pretty good amount, but let it come back on itself. And then before that took a little quick trade there. So
That's pretty cool, bro.
yeah. And it only takes one trade a day. I only let it take one trade a day, because when it starts taking more than one trade a day, it starts just fucking getting out of control. The parameters are a secret, Thomas. Why did it take the trade? It took the trade because I was shorting the market on my other account really heavy, and I was like, well, it can sense me. So no, so the parameters are based off of market conditions. So it actually checks the weighted AD, it checks the tick, it checks the sectors, it checks the thing here, so you can see like Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla. So it's checking all of these. It's checking all of our 11 sectors of the market as well. And then it has to do with like the current price action. But yeah. I mean, I can't give away the secret sauce, but if you tune in every day, I'll tell you when the fucking thing gets into a short and when it gets into a long. So far, it's been, this is day 3 that it's been live, and 2 out of 3 days, it's been profitable. I mean, today it hit a 17-point short, and then it didn't trade yesterday, but the day before that, it hit a 69 quarter to 38.0875, whatever that is. So you figure 70, that's 30, so about 38 points, 38 points short the previous day. So
Dang, bro.
um
Hey, do you know why it was targeting the 86? You said
it's the Donchian channel. I'm using the Donchian channel. Remember I told you guys a couple weeks ago that I was back studying the Donchian channel? You guys remember that or no? No?
I'm not sure.
I was talking about it. I was talking about this Donchian channel, and I'll show you. So
Ray said yes.
yeah. So here's how the Donchian channel works, right? And this is just the indicator on TradingView. And believe me, you look at it and you're like, oh shit, this thing's fucking magic. I'm gonna put this on. I'm just gonna long short every time, right? And it's just not that accurate. But if we get rid of these stupid fucking things and just keep the parameters to it, we'll just look at it on the 30-minute. Ooh, markets. Oh, there's 86. Looks like I did close early. But so here's how the Donchian channel is working, like from Turtle Traders. So I basically what happened is I read the book Turtle Traders, and the guy in Turtle Traders had a bet with his friend that said that he could fucking teach. He could teach. Well, it's not the cloud. The channel is just telling you if you're supposed to be in a red or a shorter or long. Let me go ahead and just erase that part because it not important. And I don't want you to get confused. So basically I read this book called The Turtle Traders, and it's about a guy who had a bet. It's basically like fucking Trading Places in real life. No, it's not the Ichimuki cloud. It's not. Um, it's not at all, to be honest. The cloud is different. It's a different parameters, and the cloud is based off of moving indicators. That red is literally just showing when the market's in a short, and then it's blank when the market's not in a trade, and then green when the market's in a long. That's all that was. And so in here, I'll put it back on just so you can you can be certain. Fuck, it does that one more time. I don't know why there's so many days to the right. Jesus Christ. Okay, see, so like here it gets in a long, it's supposed to get in a long, and the parameters of the turtle traders or the Danchin channel are if the market makes a higher high, and it's supposed to be done like on a daily or a weekly, but so it makes a higher high right here, right? So the market gets into a long, and then it's supposed to hold that long until it makes a lower low. Right, so here it makes a lower low, so and then it's always in a trade, right? So it gets into a long, closes its long right here, gets into a short, right? Goes into here, since it makes a higher high right here, it closes a short, but because it doesn't make a higher high, it doesn't get into a long. Morning, Tommy. It makes a lower low here, so it gets back into a short, so the short would get in right here. It would take all this heat and then eventually close out, basically break even, right? And this is why it doesn't work great. And so basically the reason I'm using the Danchin channel is because it's just the easiest way to mark the higher highs and lower lows. Basically it marks the swing points, and that's what I like about it. Because if
Yeah, that
you
makes
the swing points, if you just put like regular swing points on, you just have fucking lines on your chart like this, right? And it drives me mental. And so I was thinking like, okay, well, if that's what they're looking for, is really looking for the market to make a higher high because it just did, so it's showing some momentum to the upside, then that would be a good spot to take profit. And so, long story short, TJ, that's why it's targeting. It was targeting the the Danchin channel low basically, but it's on this one's
gotcha.
on this one's on a
You're
20.
basically just using some of that data, that specific data point that they're gathering. You're just using that to tell your bot when to like get out and stuff.
Exactly, because there's
Yeah.
no.
You're not trading all the signals.
Oh fuck no.
Yeah. No, I was just curious because that I had a box right there at the 86 from 84 to 88. So I was just curious. That makes
Yeah,
sense. So
it's just because that previous low. But yeah, I mean, I read that book, and I mean the book, it's called The Turtle Traders, or The Complete Turtle Trader. Get rid of this. And it was a really interesting book because the guy literally took like, just random people that had no idea about how to trade and gave them a specific set of rules and was like, hey, you need to, these are the exact rules that you're going to follow, and these people became millionaires. He had very rigid rules, and it was on a daily chart, right? So it wasn't an intraday chart, so they'd have to be able to hold these positions and then have to take drawdowns, and they'd take losses, but over time they were profitable. And maybe it still works, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. But I just decided to use it as I had seen that it did get tested, the higher highs and the higher lows, as it gave me an opportunity to get my bot for a profit target. I have looked into the half trend. Yeah, Sierra chart has a half trend on it. I'm just not a fan of how they how it's displayed. Would I sell again at 3,700? Yeah, maybe if we get back up there. Jake B, no, they didn't. Many failed. Yeah, many failed. Yeah, but some became millionaires. Yeah, I mean, not all of them. And that's the thing, is I'm not advertising to go download the Danchin channel and fucking use it as a trading strategy, because it doesn't. There is nothing out there, guys, that's gonna be a win all, X marks the spot, fucking green dot, trade system. That's just not how it works.
Yeah, everybody wants the tool, but they don't realize like they're the tool. Like you have to refine yourself into being able to see what you need to see to take the
Exactly.
trade.
And everyone's style is going to be different. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm seeing something, TJ's seeing something, my dad's seeing something, my uncle's seeing something. Like, it's not necessarily going to be the same thing for everybody.
Basically, what you're saying is if you think you're going to find a tool, you are a tool.
Exactly. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's a game of probabilities, Jason. Exactly. That's why that book by Annie Duke called Thinking in Bets is a great book. That's another one too, TJ. I don't know how far you're going to be driving soon. But Atomic Habits is pretty short, like 5 hours. And then if you're driving longer than that, download that Annie Duke book because it's about 5 hours as well. It's a pretty short book, and you could probably power through both of them.
Thinking in Bets.
Thinking in Bets, yeah, by Annie Duke. You'll
Bro, we driving
probably
a lot.
you'll probably want to listen to Atomic Habits more than once, to be honest with you. Like it's one of those books. Like I find myself like re-listening to it, even just pieces of it. Like if I'm doing yard work, I just toss my headphones in and just listen to Atomic Habits, and it really just like you receive the message differently every single time you listen to it. The book is just really good.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah, I did
thinking.
the.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, my bad. I'm kind of confused because like on Audible, it says like $8 a month, get unlimited listens to whatever in the Plus series or whatever. But then like you only get 1 credit a month, I guess, and I had to use the credit to get the book. So I was like, how do I have unlimited listens if I have to use the credit? So I was kind of confused on how it works.
There's like there's free stuff on there.
Okay, so just not every book's in the free.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, that sucks.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm doing like yesterday I traded until the market closed and then went and did like Uber Eats for the rest of the day. So
oh, okay.
Trying to make it happen in this season, you know.
Right.
Whatever we gotta do.
The Way of the Turtle, Jake V. That's on my list of books to listen to. Yeah.
TJ, I think you get when you sign up for Audible, I think you get 3 credits a month. I might be wrong.
It depends on the version you buy.
For your account, right? But yeah,
I get 1 credit a month.
I wish you could give credits. I like my friend Jared has like 1,000 credits because he has it and has never used it. So I'm like, bro, shoot me those credits.
send them my way.
Morning, Dad. At the airport. Yeah, you should be taking off here a couple hours, right?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Boarding in like an hour.
Nice.
I just hate being late to the airport. Yeah, never flown this airline. I heard it's bad. The Spirit.
Oh,
that's all right.
Standing room only.
Yeah, that's all right. I got 9F right over the wing, so got my sound deafening headphones. I'm good.
Freaking, they're strapping your chair to the wing right now as we speak.
It's a direct flight.
Yeah, it's a direct flight. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Direct
chilling.
flight.
No Wi-Fi.
That's because the reason why it's a direct flight is because all the people that have connection flights, they give a parachute and throw out of the plane. Good luck.
All right. Hey,
Knock
thanks
your
for
ass to the ground.
See,
thanks for the vote of confidence.
I've flown Spirit so much because the Army buys you the cheapest flight that they can possibly find. And so like Spirit typically is normally like right up that alley, Spirit or Southwest, depending upon like if you're on the West Coast. But what's it called?
The food.
There's no, I mean, there's a, like, I just put my headphones on and listen to music, and I sleep on the airplane, though. Not a lot of people can.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Every flight service has advertising on it.
Every flight has what?
Every flight service has advertising on it, on the Spirit. It's terrible. And then you got to pay extra for your baggage.
Oh yeah, you got everything is extra.
When I flew
You're wearing
to
shoes. That's $2. You have a jacket. Oh, that's another $1. You know, it's like, holy shit.
oh yeah, see, I'm not used to that either because I was always military, so everything's free. I sat in the captain's seat or the fucking pilot's seat of a Spirit airline on the way to Vegas. We got to the Oakland airport at like, fucking 6 a.m. because our flight was at like 8:30. Got hammered and got on the plane, and there was nobody sitting in the pilot seat, and the door was open. And I was like, guess I'm flying. Sat down, turned around, like had my brother take a picture, and then the stewardess came in. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, fuck does it look like, bitch? I'm fucking about to fly this plane.
Need to push a button.
Whoops. I thought
to
it was
take
like,
off.
I thought it was 0A. I thought my seat was 0A. This isn't my seat.
What?
It's like, please
Yeah.
buckle up and sit down. She's like, all right, get out. And then we sat down, and the bartender there was super cool. So he gave us free drinks, and then he gave us a bunch of beers to go for free. And like, I mean, I don't know how he did it, but he did. And so we got on the plane, and because we're going to Vegas, I was like, let me get a beer. And she's like, no, you're not getting a beer. And I was like, bitch. And I just unzipped my backpack. I got beers in here. So she was bummed. Needless to say, she was being a total bitch when we were going to Vegas. I'm like, bro, you gotta be. I wasn't even doing anything like bad. Just wanted to take a picture.
Yeah, like relax.
Yeah.
Back in
Yeah,
the day,
I mean-
Southwest used to be awesome on the trip to Vegas. They'd sing songs and do crazy shit. The seats used to face each other and stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember that. They made it an event.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, Jake, I think you're
What happened
right.
with this market?
The NFP reports came out.
Oh wow.
I think you're right, Jake. I think that I think it was like, yeah, it was like two went on to be successful, and then they wrote books about it, and then there was like more studies done on it. But I mean, it really is like you're saying, you know what I mean? Like, it's mindset. Anything is possible with the right mindset, I think. So those Brad prints finally got filled in. We've got some single prints still down here. What's up, Double R? And this could be an area where we start to see some responsive buying down here.
At what level? Is that the 3660?
36.
Or are you talking about at the
3660, 3659 quarter to 3642 is where these previous singles are.
Hey, can you look at ETH?
Yeah. My total cost, haters be hating. My total cost from Sierra Charts is like 36 bucks a month or something like that. So ETH is not down as much as you would assume, especially with the market, how far down it is. The market's down about 2.5%, and I guess it's close. But that doesn't include the data. That's just for the platform subscription. So you'd have to calculate your data on there. I pay like $220 for data or something, like $218 for data right now. So, but your data should be much cheaper than mine. I mean, ETH is really just in a balance. Like, I mean, it's in kind of a 4-day balance. That look above yesterday, this was a long-term trend that it actually peaked above, so it makes sense. A little bit of selling came in. It did end up getting up there to that 1377, but wasn't able to really reclaim anything higher. But a little bit of liquidation past that weekly VWAP, and then coming down to these lows. Really just watch these lows here. And these are those lows that we've been talking about pretty much all week. You've got that point of control down there, that previous point of control, and excess from Tuesday and Wednesday. And so I would be waiting. I wouldn't take any ETH trades really until it gets back down into this 1320. See how it acts. If you start to see some short covering come in, that could be a nice spot to try to catch along with a a nice risk managed responsive trade.
Cool, thanks.
Yep.
I was just kind of zooming out. I wish I would have done this morning, but we're back in that kind of balance zone from last week or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to see how we act at the 60.
Right. That was a big level last week.
It's right above the single prints too.
My mic might not be on.
Oh yeah, I heard you. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, hey, did you know that Ninja has an inactive or inactivity fee?
I did not know that.
Yeah, because I've been trading my Apex for the last several months, and since I was waiting for it to reset, I just stuck on a few trades on my little dinky account that had like $80 in it. I made $30 in profits, and they took 25 of it in inactivity fees.
But you haven't been on there in like 30 days or something like that?
No, I've been on there. I just hadn't traded that specific account.
That's what I mean. Like you haven't traded that account in like 30 days?
Yeah, it had been a few months. Yeah.
I'd send them a message. I bet you they would fund you.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You have lifetime as well, don't you, Pop?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a piss take, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want lifetime, but you're gonna have to pay monthly.
Yeah, I'd just send them a message and be like, hey, like I've been trading my account. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. I'm using Ninja Trader. I'm just trading on the sim.
Yeah.
You know. And they might refund you.
We'll see. For the shot.
They have a pretty big connection now because they're through Chase Bank, so you know, those fees should be easily refundable, like a fucking ATM fee, basically.
Yeah.
Learn the story. It's fantastic. Like Livermore's books. You'll learn while being entertained. Genius, right? Trading education never stops, ever. It's lifelong. Enjoy it. Yeah, that's 100% true. And especially when you like, that's what grabbed me to that Turtle Traders book so much, is because it's a true story. You know, a lot of books are based off of, you know, kind of like here or there, like this or that. But they're very interesting reads, but they're not really necessarily pertaining to like actual real life situations where that Turtle Trader book did. Another good series of books is called Trading Wizards. Who writes it? There's a bunch of them too. I have one more left to listen to. They're long, but they were really good. You provide amazing shit for zero cost. Yeah, of course. No reason to charge people for stuff. Like I said, I think a lot of people are charging people for stuff probably because they're not making any money. Wizards, here we go. Jack D. Schwager. Jack Schwager or Schwager. Wait, you know, however you say his name.
Jack S.
Jackass. There we go. But yeah, he has. I mean, there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of those, and they're all really good. Like owning a condo. Yeah, maybe it's Swagger. And the H is silent.
Yeah, I think one of the best things people can do is just be like hungry to learn, you know, and just like a lot of people get taught like, okay, I'll go to school and then I'm never opening a book again. Like I'm never learning anything again. Like I'm done with this education thing. And if you can just commit yourself to being like a lifelong learner, I mean, the sky's the limit, honestly. Like one of my favorite quotes is it's like if you stop if you stop getting better today you're the best you'll ever be. And it's like, well, shoot.
Yeah, that's a good thought process for sure. And I think that's probably what helps me, like, as far as, because I come from the medical field, and you basically always have to continue to learn,
Okay.
because if you don't, you're gonna be left behind, and your skills are gonna become not useless, but they're gonna become outdated, because in the medical field, stuff's always getting updated. And it's the same way with the market. The market's always changing. Every single day it's changing. And so yeah, if you can just stay on that path and keep learning no matter what, you can really improve yourself. And the key is, like, some people get inundated with market, like, I need to only study about the market. But like we said, like, self-improvement is so key. If you, and this is only going to come with journaling, but if you're trading and your issue is discipline, well, what I recommend is not watch a bunch of trading videos on how to be disciplined. Read something or watch something that's how to be disciplined, period. Because if you can bring these other aspects into your life with discipline, then it's going to carry over into your trading, right? There's no reason, if let's say you're overweight, so you're undisciplined when it comes to eating too much food, right? Well, that's a habit that you have. The habit is not food. The habit is that you're not disciplined. And so if you're not disciplined in that part of your life, what makes you think that you're just going to get on the computer and be a completely different person? You know what I mean? And so those are these aspects that you have to carry them over into all parts of your life. Richard Muglin YouTube channel is a new version of Swagger. Hyper classic. I'm not sure if that's bad or good. I enjoyed listening to them because I enjoyed, like, the kind of like listening to, like, the thoughts and the brains of some of the geniuses along the routes of the market. But I mean, that's a key thing here, guys. Like, if you're, and this is why I key in on journaling so much, because it's the only way to really track what's going on. Yeah, you can think about it, but your mind will bend things to your own discord. Basically, you'll remember things the way you want to remember them. Like, if you ever listen to my little sister tell a story, it's like, you swear to God it was fucking, it was like a movie, basically. And you're like, really? Just rode the fucking skateboard off the curb. Nothing really that exciting. But that's how the brain works. And so the only way to really dig down deep and kind of look back at it is to journal. Oh, I like Mark Minervini. Mini E Vinny. Yeah, I follow him on Twitter. I like him. And like, even for me, like, I had gained, like, a pretty significant amount of weight for the first time in my life, and I did have, like, an underlying, I've had Hashimoto's disease or whatever, but I just basically was like, you know what, fuck that. I'm not gonna eat sugar not at all, but I'm just not gonna give in to any of my impulses when it comes to eating candy or eating things that I just don't fucking need. And then, I saw it carry over into my training, how disciplined my training became, how less lots that I started to take, or how much less risk I started to take, how much more patient I was in taking solid trades. A lot of those things. He can shoot. I'm actually gonna be buying a new gun soon.
Brad, have you ever read the book The Ant and the Elephant?
I have not.
Bro, you would love that book. You gotta check it out. It's by like Vince Passetti. It's about like the exact stuff we're talking about, like just how your brain works and how you can take yourself to the next level. And
Yeah, I'll check it out.
it's that was one of the books that helped me, like just coming up from nothing, broke as a joke, to chase my dreams.
I wrote AUNT. The ant.
Yeah, it kind of highlights like the power of your conscious mind and how everybody focuses a lot on your conscious mind, which is the ant. It's like such a small speck, and the elephant is your subconscious thoughts, and how most of the decisions you make and all, like so much stuff is dictated by your subconscious mind. And if you can align those two and into the same direction, it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, just got it here on Audible. I got like a 2-hour drive to pick up my dad today, so I'll read it. It's Vince Persetti, The Ant and the Elephant, Jake B. AMD cut a bit of a bid. Yeah, the market's catching a little bit of a bounce here. We have a little bit of excess, a little buying tail here on the low above those single prints. So maybe some sellers getting a little bit nervous. We can see the breadth really didn't pick up too much. And then that tick finally did climb above 0 here. The IPSC, what is that? That's like the NRA, basically. Weeble stays heavy on trying to get you to recommend people for their fucking thing. They're like, yo, we'll give you some free stocks. Come on. Find your friends. Oh, it's a gun type shooting? Oh, okay. My opinion on the yearly low being in Globex is that, yeah, most times that level's not gonna hold. But that's not to say that we wanna be just getting short because of that. You know what I mean? Oh, it's competition shooting? Nice, I'll have to check that out. Have you heard of the sheepdog response, Jake V? So right up to the cash VWAP, 3688 is the cash VWAP. Yeah, Tim Kennedy runs it, and then my buddy Dennis Jones works with them. It's a really good program. I mean, I'm kind of biased because Dennis works for them, but Tim Kennedy's a pretty top guy. He might not be one of the best competition shooters, but he's done the real deal, and so is Dennis. most of the guys that work with that team are I met a lot of them through combatos, the hand-to-hand combat we have in the army. But a lot of them are like ex-infantry or ex-special forces or ex-military police, like people that have a lot of time with a pistol or an AR in their hand. We got another one of TJ's boxes starting to form here. Cash view up's 88.75. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love me some jujitsu. I've been doing a lot of no gi lately. I just hate the fucking gi, to be honest with you. I fucking hate it. But that's probably because I'm not like I mean, I just get like I'm claustrophobic a little bit when it comes to shit like that. Like for some reason I feel like I'm dying in there. But what's weird is like, so in the military we would just use our uniforms, and the uniform's not as thick, but that gi is like, it's like wearing a carpet, you know, and it just feels like you're gonna drown in there. A little break above here. See if we're gonna get any continuation. A little decent trend here coming off of the low. Would I sell that low? What do you mean? For me, what I'm looking for right now is I'm looking to see how the market acts in these weak spots, right? Market may have gotten a little bit too short, so it needs to do some backing and filling, and that's going to show us a little bit of strength or weakness here. If the market gets up to these kind of weak spots and fails to hold, then there's opportunity to trade it back down to the volume areas, especially if we don't get volume stepping up. Yeah, let me put my gi on before I fight you. Oh, the 71 low? I don't think I would sell the low. I'd try to be short before the low because we have this VPOC right here from the 3rd. This is that day where we kind of popped up here and we were filling in a little bit of this weak structure. You can see we kind of had this weak structure here. And so we're filling in a little bit of that weak structure. We are getting a lot of rotations down here. We didn't fill the gap above, so it's really kind of turning me off to any longs. I mean, not that there's not opportunity. Obviously, this thing's from 37.70 to 37.90, so 20-point ripper from the low. But I think I'm going to be more patient, especially the trade that I hit this morning. And it's Friday. You know, there's no reason for me really to be too aggressive. I'm just going to wait for these kind of weak spots to get tested and then play it off of those. Oh, the sex bots are back. Gotcha, bitch. Got you on the first try. 0-32 put calls. If this thing breaks trend here and gets below this 81, actually really honestly, if it gets below this 83, you'll probably see some more downside because here's the this volume, and then 83 is here where this weak volume's at. This thing will probably come back down to that 73. So you might catch, if it breaks the 83, you might catch a little move down here to that 78, maybe even 76, 75. So a little bit of volume stepping up here, it looks like. Right, looks like a little bit stepping up there. And this, we're right here below the VWAP. Below the cash VWAP. You can see these sellers really trying to offer this 87 level, 87, 88 level. And buyers just kind of soaking it in for now. Like I said, I'm waiting to see how we act at these kind of weak spots up here. That's what I wanted to look. So watch this 83 level we said, right? If 83 level trades, you'll probably get a little bit of a move down to that like 76 area. Does anyone know how to change the pulling and stacking on Sierra charts change like refreshes like every X amount of seconds?
I think I still have the DOM from when you like first started using Sierra charts. So mine don't have any of that stuff on it. And I haven't tried tweaking the DOM at all because really try not to watch it.
Here comes C period. I'm not quite down to that 83 yet. Did we trade the 83? 83.75? So there it goes. So there's the 83. When they cover. A little short covering on that 83 is surprising because I figured they'd sell into it. See if they come back down here and start selling into it. So look for them to trade like down here to the 77, 76. C lows, mechanical right off that B low. Volume's kind of slowing here, it looks like as well. Let me check the volume of the first couple periods. AMD made a new low. Yeah, volume's actually less than yesterday. Just barely. It's about even with yesterday for the most part. I need to go to global settings. So you just have to do it manually. So still a weak low here. Not really looking that great. Market is, bringing in a little bit of volume, trying to fill in lower, and we're starting to see some rotations here. And this is kind of going to be our first early sign of the day starting to develop, right? So far today, we're kind of feeling that B-shaped look. We have 3 TPOs wide. If C is able to extend below B, right, we have decent odds of forming into a trend day. If C period just balances inside B period, and then D period, does a little bit of the dance, the odds start to decrease that the market turns into a trend day. The breadth here is 5 and 5 on the NYSE and the Nasdaq. A little bit more than we opened up. We opened up a little bit above 5, but you can see the selling here on the weighted AD at least is not as strong as it was earlier during that B low. So okay. You have headphones? Watch my. Yeah, I mean, it looks like this thing wants to come down to 77, 76 here. They're just kind of failing to hold it here. Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure this out to where it can be just on intervals. It would be nice, but
Bot just got out.
all right.
It was a hell of a banner day for the bot.
The bot is out, and we know what that means.
I rode that thing hard. Holy crap. I actually, from all the time that I was considering getting out, it actually doubled what I would have gotten out at.
Just in the bot.
It's funny, it actually hit that low, it sold, and then immediately bounced back up a little. Oh, I guess it came back down though, so I guess we'll see if it has any continuation.
Well, the bot typically once the momentum starts to slow, it's
Yeah.
been getting out.
Well, it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It had 7 candles indicating to get out. It just hadn't hit that threshold. So it was just waiting for that thing. It was just waiting for it, and then it hit the candle where it actually had enough threshold, and then it immediately sold. But all 7 of those candles were telling it to sell. It just had other indicators it was looking at.
This is like the slowest short in the whole world here.
I just can't believe that AMD started at 5% down and is almost 9% down right now. The bot got in it. I think it was like 7, close to 7% down. That's crazy. I didn't think that this thing had 9% down to go.
You're gonna put today?
Yep. The
It's
bot
got-
got
it's-
into a,
yeah.
it's
got-
out. It's out.
Oh, you're out. Okay, cool.
It got out about, I don't know, a minute and a half ago, 2 minutes ago.
Was it a good day?
Very good day.
So help
It did not
made up for that other day?
It didn't make up for the other day, but
it
it
took
made
a
it
dent out
about,
of it.
it
It
made
took
it
a
almost,
chunk out of it.
it made it about 30, a little bit, so probably 25%, a little more than that. Let's see, what would that be?
Looks not look so bad.
A little bit above 25%, so probably like, I don't know, 30, 28, 29%, let's say that. But I mean, it's overtime. I mean, the whole thing with the bot is that it's overtime. It's
Yeah,
gonna have days where it
exactly.
loses.
Yeah, it was just, I know it was a bit of a heavy one for you, so
It was the
nice
biggest
to-
loss I've ever had, but it
it's nice to have a
also,
couple of winners after that to take the edge off.
part of it is because I'm trading 6 contracts, whereas I've had a larger single contract loss, but I was only playing 4 contract or maybe 3 contracts at the time. So it wasn't as big of a monetary loss. It was just based on. So it was the monetary loss that was the blow.
Same will be for your winners though, so swings and roundabouts.
Well, I was just looking at some of these winners and some of them are over 100% return. So, I mean, I just have to catch the right one. Today was a good one. Today, I think was about a 25% out. So, not bad. Not bad. It did end up doing the open, then the double down, and then because it reverted back up a little bit, it popped back up a little bit. It actually did a 3 candle, which is an average in buy. So that helped. That is what allowed it to get out. Now I have to do the playback with my new code and see if it does the same thing. And
Always nice to finish the Friday on a
know.
winning day.
well, on a Friday, it's always a crapshoot because the contracts are low and
Right, the
the
prices,
volatility
the
is
expiration.
crazy high. Yeah, because the expiration. So the theta is very significantly affecting the price.
Everyone getting anything today, Brad?
What's that?
Your algo getting anything today?
Yeah, my algo took a short from 37.07 quarter to 36.90.75.
Nice.
It was targeting the 86, but I closed it early like a little baby back bitch.
Even closing out the algo early.
You guys know where the 50 EMA is? My charts aren't loading.
On
The 1 minute.
1 minute? Yeah, I can find out.
We're on
I
it now,
spent,
TJ. We're at the 50 right now. We're just literally just a couple of ticks above it.
I spent almost a month basically going in and second guessing and getting the bot out early or stopping it from doing a trade. I did that all the time until I could trust it. I mean, trusting technology is a hard thing, particularly when, I mean, money is on the line.
Yeah, especially for me, because I think I'm better than the algo, to be honest.
Well, and that was what I did is I actually tried to trade. So I would take the trades that the bot did, and then I would take the trades that where I changed it. And so I still had both of them so I could see what the bot would have done versus what I ended up doing. And that's when I decided, F it, the bot needs to just play because it was edging me out. I was only at 30% of what it was capable of doing on its own. I mean, it wasn't that I was doing bad. It's just that the bot was freaking kicking my ass.
There's the 50 right there, TJ. 36.86. Right at it.
Brad, that downtrend you got on the 1 minute, that goes all the way up
Thank you.
into the overnight.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Actually goes to where the liquidation started in the overnight.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep my eye open for my mean reversion play, and my freaking trading view charts aren't loading. I was long like 81.
I was doing some just some tests back on the chart yesterday, and I was doing some trends from the overnight session leading into the cash session, and a lot of the times you get nice breaks from the overnight trend when it breaks it in the cash session, and it happens pretty regular as well.
Say that again, Tommy.
Like a downtrend coming in from the cash from the Globex session, and then you open up in the cash session. When you break it, you get quite a nice pop, and it happens pretty regularly, you know.
Okay.
Like it comes up and just takes the trend line out straight away. Especially if it's been quite a long trend. I guess it's the correction as well, right? But you can it's just a different way of seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah, like a different perspective. That's a good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because it's like a rebalance, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, but and then sometimes it will come up to the line and reject and just carry on down. So it's quite cool to watch. Theory, we know they're weaker traders in Globex, right? So if it's a downtrend or in the Globex session and then in the cash session we open up, we know it's stronger money and it just will take the trend. And obviously they're all closing out quickly because they're weaker money in the Globex session.
Right. We got that C low right at the B open. That's kind of a weak low look here. But it does look like, you know, I mean, I thought we were going to get a little bit lower. I thought we were going to get some 76, but we didn't quite get down there. And, you know, now we're bouncing back up to close to that B high here, breaking that downtrend here. Something I've been looking at as well here is, we look at, it's easier to look at like the future. All these fucking, let me move these real quick. Let's just hide them. Oh. See, getting really close to that B high here. Okay, so something I've been kind of paying attention to is, or just not really paying attention to, I guess, but just kind of noticing, looking back on multiple charts, is if we have these CME gaps, right? So like here's a CME gap. So the market closed right here and then opened right here. If we drag that out, right, it's like the market tries to get up into that CME gap, fails, tries to get up there again, fails, and then finally gets back up into there, gets accepted, and then eventually just kind of gapped up overnight, and then it came right back down to it. So here's another CME gap right here, right? Came back down to this previous CME gap, traded back up through this one, but found a little bit of resistance. And it seems like, you know, as you look back at a lot of these CME gaps, that they actually, you know, might be in play. Like here's another one here. So this is a CME gap here. You can see the market kind of gets rejected there. There goes the, oh, I thought it broke the high. It's close. Here's another CME gap here. You can see just rejection, 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 finally gets in it, trades below it one more time, and then before finally trading back through the top of it. Those gap days are kind of difficult. But I mean, here's another one here. They have kind of like that CME gap here. It tries to trade up to it, can't, and then eventually trades back through it. So it seems like eventually all of these CME gaps get filled at some point, right? So here's another one here where it didn't fill that gap right away, but then eventually traded through it. C is one tick above here. And so, I mean, like, it's just something that I'm kind of looking at. Like, so here's another CME gap to the upside, right? And then eventually it does trade down through it. And so what I'm thinking about doing is going back and marking all these CME gaps, and those might be targets for the market to kind of repair the structure, right? Because this move down here is not necessarily a gap because we opened inside the previous day's range. So it's not a real gap, but this CME gap might have some play in it. And this is up, you know, this is a while back here, but there might be some interesting, you know, things there to at least take note of, right? So like this, here is one here, here's the close here, and here's this open here, and it didn't get filled until kind of that next week, right? And you really don't see continuation in the direction of that CME gap until it gets filled all the way. So like this one here, you know, barely got filled, but then got rejected off of, and then finally traded through, traded back to it. Same idea. Little CME gap here, market trades up, CME gap here, market trades up, CME gap here. And this is that day, the next day where it gapped lower, but it traded right through it. CME gap here, gets rejected off of it. CME gap here, gets rejected off to it, finally fills it, and then trades lower. So I'm gonna go back and mark all these levels at some point, and kind of just look back and kind of do a little back testing and see if I find anything worthwhile. Okay. Oh shit, let me see. Less related question for all of you. How would you approach finding people to set up a trading office with? I'm in town of 500,000 people with a large tech base. Meetup seems too easy, just saying. All ideas more than welcome. What about Bitcoin? I could take a peek at Bitcoin real quick. JP. What are you trying? Yeah, what are you trying to do, Jake V? Are you trying to like set up like an actual like a trading desk or just a trading office. I mean, it just depends on what you want to do, you know. But if you set up a center where people can come and trade, they'll probably come. Especially if you're teaching trading, which is something I've been looking at some commercial real estate to try to set up some. Oops.
Yeah.
To set up like an
Cheaper
actual
soon,
trading
bro.
live. Yeah, I think it would be kind of cool. Like an intensive, but a live intensive.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because it'd be direct feedback, right? You'd get like you'd be able to give people direct feedback, and you, when you're in person with people, it's like a teacher, right? You can kind of force people to do things. Like, you know, if you are the master computer and you can see all the other computers, someone takes a trade and they're not journaling it, you're like, hey, fucking, you know, write that shit down, you know. And it would just be, I don't know, I think it'd be kind of cool.
You could also do playback or back testing where you could actually show them and then like step by step, and they can see it happening real, you know, based on previously saved data or however you do it, however you decide to do it. That'd be easy.
Yeah, and it'll be I think it'll be fun. I mean, so Bitcoin here really is kind of just looking back below inside this previous balance here. You know, for Bitcoin, typically I tend to just use the value areas for balance, not really the highs and the lows. We just have kind of overlapping points of control for the most part, overlapping value inside all of this area. And then you finally get that breakout, put a little value area above, and then we're kind of trading back in. So really, you're just looking to see if you're going to get acceptance back inside this value area. If you do, they're probably going to be targeting that 19,200 level. That's been a big level. 19,400's been a big level. Almost came back down there already today. But if there's no reaction in between these two numbers, then probably the target is going to be that 18,930, I think. But I mean, you were just seeing kind of test this previous balance low. Same thing that's happening in the market is just that Bitcoin's not really going to shut off at the end of the day and go away for the weekend. It's going to stay trading all weekend. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, you'd have to find some people that are willing to do that. And that's how a lot of desks are started. Are like I've read a lot of stories about people getting started trading with, you know, similar similar kind of paths, right? They get together, like the two of the guys that hit big in the housing crash traded out of their mom's garage. They put all their money together and started their own desk, and you know, ended up making, you know, just a crazy amount of money. They need 25K on the line. Yeah, well, if they're going to day trade, they're going to, in the US, they're going to have 25K in order to day trade. Unless they do cash. I mean, you could rock a cash account with like, you know, 10 grand in it and be fine. Still day trade. So we're almost back up here to this weak spot. This 96 is kind of where I have my marker at. I'd like to see how the market acts up here at this 96. Yeah, the cash account avoids the PDT rules. That's exactly what you're about. Yeah, I mean, if we had more local people, I mean, my basement's pretty big. I'd set it. I mean, plenty of room for other desks in here. But I mean,
You have,
that's the thing. I
you
don't
have
really want
fiber
to
or
go
cable?
anywhere. Fiber.
Fiber, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you could go with CMEG. Yeah. Or you could just trade futures. There's no pattern day trade for future. Last night, Elon announced that he's gonna, or they're launching that electric semi truck. Oh, excuse me. That and Pepsi's gonna be the first people to receive them. I don't know. I don't know. I don't see that getting off the ground, to be honest, but we'll see. You traded with CMEG for a while? Yeah, when I first started, I was trading mostly options and then just trading small and trading on a cash account. And then once I built my account up, then I switched to margin. Then I started trading futures, and then I trade options now, like sporadically. No, it wasn't Rivian, it was Tesla. Tesla, like delivering some of their electronic semi trucks to Pepsi is the first people receiving them, I heard. I think about Cali implementing all the electric cars by 2030. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Just like I've been saying for a long fucking time that Cybertruck is not coming out. I think I was saying it for like 2 years now, and here we are. No fucking Cybertruck. It just doesn't make sense to produce something that no one's gonna fucking buy. Maybe a couple people buy it, right? And I know a lot of people fucking pre-ordered it for the dollar, and then they probably canceled it just so they could post on Facebook, I ordered the Cybertruck, right? But just impractical, unless the zombie apocalypse kicks off, then that vehicle might be decent, but you have to fix the glass still. So hit a 20-point MES in your cash account. Hell yeah, good stuff, bro. Qashqai's at 11 right now. So you guys want to listen to some Fed speak? Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen, to be honest. I don't think the grid can support it, and I don't think that they're gonna be ready for it by 2030. I think it's just the fucking, bending to the will of all the fucking hippies that think that electric cars are gonna save the world. I don't have anything against electric cars, right? And I like Tesla. It's just impractical the way the grid is set up. There's not going to be enough power. They're already having fucking power problems in California. They have rolling blackouts right now. Imagine if everyone had an electric car. You know what I mean? Just not going to be fucking able to do it. I have been reading a lot about the UK and their, rolling blackouts that may be coming here. Solar powered cars. Yeah, I mean, if they could figure out a way for the technology, but the technology is just not there. You know what I mean? Not to power like it's Fridays. The technology's not, it's just not there, So even the solar power chargers for the phone they just have to figure out a way to capture and hold. That's the issue, is like the solar power energy is great if you're using that, but once it's maxed up, it doesn't have a way to store all of that energy, and then it just basically evaporates once the sun goes away. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think that technology's there yet. Like I said, I think that I personally think that um I personally think that the only way um out of this crisis for the US, and this is not above board for the US, right? They're always going to be taking care of themselves. There's a reason everything's on the fucking dollar, right? Um and so if the US wanted to really alleviate some of the stressors that they're having because of this kind of whole crisis or whatever you call it that we're in, um they would just kind of dump the EU and go with China and Russia and India and Saudi Arabia and be like, well, sorry. And I mean, that would be kind of detrimental for a lot of Europe, right? Because Europe is, for the most part, um, a consumer more than a exporter. Yeah, exactly. They do this kind of stuff to, um, for a reason, right? And there's even a website dedicated to kind of what you're talking about, Roach. Called. So this website called Quiver Quant. This guy made this website. It's free. Um, but he basically is tracking, and there's a tutorial on how to use it and stuff. It gives out this briefing, and so he has kind of designed this algorithm to see where the donations, or where the, what do they call it, lobbying money goes to. And so for every dollar these companies spend in lobby, they get, X amount of tax breaks or subsidies. And so he's basically using this to kind of find the stocks that um are getting are kind of getting this, right? Are kind of getting this response here from a lot of like this one. Well, this one doesn't have anything, but he's using this to find the stocks that get a lot of pushback, or what do you call it? A lot of give back from the government, right? Government gives them back money for donating, right? And he's got it all broken down. The website, you'd have to watch or kind of read through this. On the main page, there's a tutorial on how to use this platform. It's a free website, and he just kind of goes through everything here. And you know, if you're looking to make some interest or some insight into some of these companies that are, you know, shady and make some money off of it, then that could be a decent website to use. And it's free. So failed right there at that you know, right below that 96. Wasn't able to get actually up there. So I was kind of waiting for that 96 level. Yeah, lobbyists fill the pockets of corporations. Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of, you know, one of the ones I was reading actually the other day, I can't remember the company, it was some solar tech company, and then when the bill was going through, the fucking Reduction Relief Act bill was going through, there was some solar company that was just, you know, skying because of it. You know, and so it's kind of like, well, this things might be have some validity to it, might be worth the track. Seeing the breath cool here a little bit. We did get some positive ticks. The tick did try to climb up a little bit, but you know, pretty much got, for the most part, just ran out of steam. Wasn't able to really get anything going. Almost got back below that 1,000 tick here on D. So that's kind of a bit of a kind of a weak sign, to be honest with you. And we're kind of finally coming back down to that trend line. So break and hold below that trend line probably brings us back down to that 3080, which was a big area earlier until we saw this volume step up here at the 86. Breath is cooling a little bit, 3.5. It was 5 when it was down here. So if we start to see the breath increase, starting to see that trend line break here now too. Posted the supply box in the futures. Let's take a peek. $36. Looks like right here.
Yeah, it's kind of like the make or break zone. On the mean reversion play, a lot of times it'll keep hitting against the box like it is right now. Jessica, can you close the door? It'll keep hitting against the box right there. So a lot of people start betting on it holding, and everybody puts their stops right there. So when we finally break that spot, that's where we get the last leg up to like the 200 or the VWAP. Or on a gap down day, you know, if we're really thinking down, that's where you would take your shorts against the box, and you would bet on that area holding, basically.
I like it. You just have to come up with a more clever name. I like it more. It was like when OnlyFans went out of business or was getting sued and was like talking about going out of business. I came up with the idea called Brad's Babes to replace OnlyFans, but my wife shut it down. So, goddamn, it was a good idea. That just, I mean, that just rolls off the tongue. You know what I mean? Could have been rich.
Rich and single.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she wasn't the biggest fan of the idea. There we go. So look for it to trade back down to this 80 level. This was kind of the level from earlier that we saw some buying from. We do have a mechanical C low as well, right off that B open, so there could be some pushback down towards that level as well. Launch it as if it's a crypto coin. I wouldn't even know how to do that. Value area low 76 quarter. Yeah, mine's. If sellers don't get the price really below that 78, yeah, 78 level again, which is kind of right where that C failed, that's going to show a little bit of weakness from the selling here. And like I was saying earlier, when we have 4 TPOs wide already, we're kind of decreasing the odds that we get into a trending day. Not to say that we can't start to trend lower, but there is less odds. The Nasdaq is picking up pretty big here, 601 breath here. So the Nasdaq really is the leader on the downside. It was a leader on the upside yesterday before giving up, and then so we've got the ES down about 1.9, but the Nasdaq's down 2.7, so almost a full percent bigger on the Nasdaq here on the downside. AMD's down 10% for the day. Apple's down 2%. Meta's down 2%. Microsoft down 5%. Netflix is down 2.5%. Tesla's down 3.7. Yeah, I'm in a short right now from 86.75, but I'm looking for that 80.
Them
You cut out, Roach. What were you saying? Roach, what were you saying? You cut out.
Dadgummit, I just seen anything said 50% off Apex.
I think it's always 50% off.
Oh yeah, 80% off is the good deal. I'm
Yeah.
like, crap, I just paid all mine.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's I think it's always 50% off.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I was thinking this. I'm kind of wondering if they'll do one for Columbus Day or whatever.
Oh,
They use like every
guaranteed
excuse possible to
Yeah.
do it. So
I'll get the email at the end of the day today.
Email, the text,
The
carrier
phone
pigeon.
call. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
always get a call. It's like calls and then hangs up right away and then leaves the voicemail. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, if you go in their Facebook group too, if you ever need a special, you can just search in there and there's always one somewhere.
oh, nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
there, I just talked for 5 minutes with the fucking thing on mute.
What were you saying though, Roach? Because you cut out earlier when you were trying to say something.
I don't know. Could you hear me?
Now I can, yeah.
Oh, you hear me? Yeah, I was on mute the whole while. I was saying to TJ, them little consolidation boxes, I used to watch them on 4PNFs, and I used to track the inventory in them as far as, like, in other words, if you had a lot of aggressive buyers in there, and that, it would break to the downside, well, you'd usually get the flush because the buyers would all get scared out, Now, 99% of the time, they're pretty balanced out, but if you could find them with imbalances in them sometimes, you kind of can anticipate which way it's going to break. Usually, if you get too many buyers in that box, it's not going higher. It's usually going lower because there's just too many buyers, and
Right.
they get scared out. They're selling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They run for the hills, or you could get a little, just flush them out. If you're bullish on the market and there's a bunch of buyers in there, well, you wait for them to get flushed out and then you get it. You know what I mean? Shit like that. But you could put a little profile on that box, and it'll show you the delta. It'll show you everything. I don't know if TJ fools around with that or not, but it's something to think about.
Yeah, my original idea of the boxes is I'm actually marking single prints of a 1 minute candle. So like the picture I posted is actually, I'm anticipating the trapped inventory being inside that box. So I know it's going to be resist selling pressure like it has been until we trap enough people underneath us to create the pressure we need to go back through it. But yeah, not like what you're saying on the 1 minute candle, like consolidations and stuff. Yeah, that's where I get a lot of my scalps. Like wait for people to get too long or too short, and then I trade the fear basically when they all start running.
Yeah, they got to run for the door. So you're saying you're trading single print on a 1 minute. So you're like little LVN is what you're saying on the profile.
Well, I'm just kind of I'm kind of thinking of them as single prints. But yeah, if you go to I don't know if you've seen the picture, but if you go to the futures channel, I posted a picture of it. And it's like a red box. And it's the liquidation break below the overnight low. And it's the liquidation candle.
Oh, okay. So that's the imbalance, basically. That.
Yeah, it's from like 37 to 1.75 to 93. Yeah.
So same thing I'm saying. If you put a profile on that 1 minute candle, you're gonna have an LVN. If you put like a volume profile on, you're gonna have an imbalance in there. You're gonna have a ton of sellers on one side and zeros on the other. Most likely, not all the time, but you know what I'm saying. A weak spot.
Yeah.
Okay. Inventory, Thomas. So like you're talking about the overnight inventory. Yeah, I talked about it this morning, but I mean basically the inventory was, I called it net short. I mean, there was some inventory above here, and it's basically like right at the low. So it could be, you could even call it even. We had that liquidation because of the NFPs that came out early on, and that's probably what caused a lot of this downside. And then the market opened up, and then sellers still came in. So, it's I mean, it's really kind of I guess a difficult overnight session. But really, I mean, when we think about the overnight inventory, if we didn't have this kind of huge gap down, the overnight inventory was short. Where here, what we were looking for early on is in correction of overnight inventory. We got a little tiny boost, and we got short when the market came back down below the open, and then the bot got short at 7/4, a little bit lower. But basically, because there was no correction to overnight inventory, no real correction to overnight inventory, it just lets you know that these overnight traders are not as weak as the typical overnight traders. Because if they're weak-handed traders, typically there'd be a correction of overnight inventory, especially with a very wide, a very prominent point of control like that. Market's coming down to its low here. I'm kind of thinking we definitely test back into these single prints today. At some point. But also, also you got to think today is Friday, and so you're wondering, if people are getting short today, over a long weekend, the odds of them actually holding it over the weekend are probably not very high. So there might be a little bounce leading into the end of the day, or towards the later end of the session. So the way to know if they're short or long is just to look from the settle. So like if we, well, I don't have the settle marked on all the other days, but if you look at the settle from yesterday, that's where I measure it from, or you could measure it from the last. From the last, it's a little bit more balanced inventory, but from the settle, it's a little bit more short. But you just take it, is most of the volume below or is most of the volume above? In this case, it's below, so you would assume that most of them are short overnight. About to get ready to deal with some ninja support. Well, let us know how it goes. Where you said you called them, Pop, and they just went to just ring for a while and then silence? That's what...
Yeah, I called them, and I didn't have a trading emergency, so I waited on hold for 20 minutes. Then it started to ring, and then nobody answered. It didn't ring anymore. It's just like ring, like it was transferring me. Then dead air. Then 3 minutes later, beep beep beep. Nothing.
I would just send them an email.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of doing that right now.
Yeah, no problem, Thomas. All right, we've got about 5 minutes till E period comes out. Let's see what the market's gonna bring here. So far, we're just looking like this kind of B shape. Sounds like dealing with the VA, yeah. I don't really have to deal with the VA that much. I'm kind of lucky. My dad fucking hates flying, so see how he does. He's about to get on a 5-hour flight.
What is it he doesn't like?
I don't know. He just fucking hates it.
Whole experience sucks.
I beg to disagree.
Coming from a pilot. I'm kind of a pilot myself.
Especially when they did that test in the TSA and 95% of the shit got through. Even a guy that had bombs strapped to his back and got patted down made it through.
Yeah. But fucking Brittany Griner's wishing she got through. Ooh, Baron, too soon.
I mean, come on, I like weed and all, but come on, you gotta be smarter than that.
Yeah, going into Russia? Fuck, I'll be on my best behavior.
Come on, I mean, you know they're looking for shit.
Yeah, especially as an American.
At the time she went, especially, I mean, come on, can't believe she went, really. In fact, the State Department told everybody, all the Americans to get out of Russia last week.
Ann Arbor, Michigan, VA is dog poo. Other states and cities are great. So weird that national organization is too different city to city. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I mean, think about when you're in the army, like, or in the military. I don't know if what service you're in. But, you know, the unit to unit, you know, some units also, like, I mean, if you're, like, I was in a couple different infantry units, and, you know, some were really good and some were absolute shit. Thanks, Woody. Nice.
It is funny that people, freaked out that they put her in jail for weed. It's like, they put you in jail for weed in the U.S. I mean, like,
Well, not anymore.
actually,
Biden just pardoned everybody yesterday.
Yeah. We'll see if that actually happens or not, though. Because they're going to put a committee together to see if they should reschedule it, which, I mean, come on. If they haven't figured out that war on drugs isn't working yet, then they're, not trying. What's weird is that it's only 6,500 people, but there's a lot more than 6,500 people in jail for weed right now.
Well, all non-violent is what the I
would guess most people that smoke weed are nonviolent. Just my guess.
Yeah, but not all people that deal with weed are non-violent.
Right, but something like 80% of people in jail for weed are in for possession.
Yeah. Jocko for president? Jocko would fuck Putin up. Putin's old now too, but I mean, Jocko would have fucked Putin up back in the day. Jocko's a fucking animal. I mean, Putin's an animal too, though. Like, that's the thing about Putin. Like, he's not just like, I mean, he's a bad motherfucker. Like, he was in the whatever the KGB or whatever their fucking secret society is. Like, it's not like,
He's a black belt in karate. Like, he was gonna fight Elon. Remember that?
Yeah, he would have whooped Elon's ass. Elon's soft as fuck. Yeah, the 82nd Airborne, they're a fuck bunch of psychopaths. Got a lot of buddies that are 82nd guys.
That was my father.
He was 82nd?
Yeah. Fort Bragg.
Yeah, Fort Bragg, yeah.
Vietnam, though, that was a long time ago. I don't know. But there was still,
It's the same. Those motherfuckers, they wake up, they run 6 miles, and then PT starts. They're just a bunch of fucking psychos. They literally, like, there was 82nd unit in Afghanistan that was going around starting shit on purpose, just to get into firefights. Like, that's It's chaotic. But some badasses. Tell you that.
Yeah, I know he had to carry a radio for a while. He hated that though.
Oh fuck, I bet. Especially back in Vietnam area. So much weight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He didn't talk too much about it, but I was a kid, you know, and I loved it. I used to bust his balls to tell me stories. He used to tell me some stories though, but he was fucked up from it. You know, he was pretty bad
Oh
from the
yeah.
head. You know.
I can't even imagine like that kind of. I mean, you're just like walking around in the jungle, and then all of a sudden, fucking boom, right from the ground,
Yeah.
you just get lit on fire.
Yeah, he said you didn't even know who you were fighting anyway, and
Yeah.
the people you were feeding your lunch during the day in the village were the same people shooting you in the back at night. They didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, then you find out 40 years later the Tonkin incident never happened.
Yeah, it was all. Well, they knew the Vietnam soldiers knew.
You know
They
that
knew it was
admiral
all
that
bullshit back then.
that admiral that lied about that was Val Kilmer's dad. Pretty crazy.
Who's here? Everybody's here, bro. Yeah, Putin was big time KGB. Yeah, he was a fucking animal. But Jocko is also an animal, dude. Navy SEAL. So, and he's like the size of a tree. Jocko Williams is. And
Yeah, he's way bigger than.
Who is Jocko Williams? I don't know that.
Oh, bro, you gotta Google that. Google him. He's an animal. Like he's like, I mean, he's like unnaturally strong. When Joe Rogan was rolling with him, he was like, Jesus Christ. Same thing with Tim Kennedy. Tim Kennedy was rolling with Jocko, and he was like, it's like rolling with a gorilla. Jocko's like he's like a super soldier, basically. You know what I mean? Like he's like your definition of what a soldier should look like. He's like 6 foot. I think he's like 6'6". Maybe he's taller. I mean, he's just a fucking monster, bro. They like his 51 now. Silver Star, Bronze Star, Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medals, Combat Action Ribbon, which is like one of the hardest ribbons to get. He's 5'11". Okay, so he's about 6 foot, but he's like the size of a fucking. I mean, he's just a big, big guy. He runs a podcast and stuff, and he's like a motivating type of thing. I don't think 6 foot's really short, but yeah, he's like 6 foot. But he I mean, he's just a badass dude. He's built like a brick shit house. Yeah, a good way to put it. Do you know why Putin is always moving his left hand while walking? I have no idea. Can you guess? I don't know why he would do that. So E period right to that D half back. A little bit of volatility kicking in here in E period. Trying to base out a little bit. Oh, his KGB training? I still think Jocko Williams beat his ass. Being honest. Yeah, the discipline. Yeah, back to yeah, exactly. His podcast and stuff like that. They're real focused on discipline and really motivating, kind of like a David Goggins type feel, but you know, Jocko's like an actual badass, not just like someone who just runs really far. I don't know much about David Goggins, but I just know he's like a real motivational guy. When they walk only by moving the left hand, it says when they have a gun on the right. That's not really. I don't think that's really KGB training. That's pretty much everybody. Like when I'm carrying mine, like I tend to be a little bit less restrictive with my right hand than my left hand because of the same thing. Because I don't want someone to try to come up and snatch it. Oh yeah. I think. I mean, I think like most people do. Maybe not our president doesn't, but I think pretty much everyone surrounding him does. So the market's trying to base out a little bit here, as we can kind of see. I mean, we didn't break that B low, D kind of extended, but D wasn't able to get that higher high, so it extended to the low here. So if E period gets continuation, most likely that B low is going to go, and then we'll look to see a reaction. Like I was saying, I think that most likely we probably test these singles at some point. Maybe not today. Can you chill? Jesus, what are you doing? Um, Most likely at some point we probably test these singles. A lot of trapped inventory down there, and I think there's probably a lot of buyers that are waiting to be a bit more responsive down there. The breadth really hasn't cooled very much. We're seeing 6-1 on the Nasdaq, 3-1 on the NYSE, and we're starting to see the weighted AD try to make lower lows. So really, I'm looking to see if some of these sectors really start to get more negative. We'll probably see some more downside. It doesn't really look like any of these bounces really brought in any real buying, more just a short covering and profit taking here. You know, if we're looking here, you can see the dollar still up above the 112, oil's up above the 90. It's at 92 here. Gold, I mean, gold's negative, but you got the Nasdaq down 3%, the Russell's down 2.5%, Apple's down almost 3%, AMD's down 10%, Amazon down 4%, Google down 2%, Meta down 3%, Microsoft 4%, Netflix 3%, Nvidia 6%, Tesla's 4.5% almost. You know, so there's not really any sign of relent here. It's more just like a little bit of profit taking, and an opportunity to kind of reload. So I'm not advocating for any longs from these levels, because I'm kind of looking for them to come down into these singles. We've got TJ's box up here. There's the area where he's got that trap supply. So if it does get above that box, there's good odds of a short covering rally that could take you, you know, up towards that BPOC and then back into the gap that hasn't filled. There's also, you know, another gap from today that goes all the way up to that 50.75. Yeah, so if they take that D low, that B low probably will go. It's a heatless trade. Ugh. Yeah, other than that, I'm about to call it a day. I got my dad coming into town today. He said 3701 is the top. 3701.5. About right there. No, I'm still in the short. Still in that same short from 86.75. But yeah, other than that, you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend. Make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. Remember that Monday's a holiday, so there won't be any stream. The market will be open, but it'll probably be on low liquidity. So if you are going to trade on Monday, make sure that you trade safe. I will post some updates this weekend if I see anything worth updating. We will see, probably some decent market news come out. Typically, they try to hammer the market down with news over weekends like this so they can buy it up leading into the next week. So we'll kind of see what they're up to, what their agenda is. And yeah, other than that, you guys have a wonderful time, and I will catch you all later.
Catch you later.